Welcome to the Charles Vanhorn Show. You can follow us on race, religion, and politics under Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at Charles Vanhorn. Today I want to cover a subject that we sometimes avoid discussing. It's a subject that touches us all at various times throughout our lives, and this is one that really is close to me, and it deals with race. Of course, I am a black man who lives in America, and I have had my fair share of racism. Even though we are all subjected to various forms of racism, it does not define who we are. One story that really caught my attention today, on August the 30th, was a shooting, a horrific shooting that took place in St. Louis. The story I found was on CNN, and it was the story of a 50-year-old St. Louis man who was arrested for the death of a teenager, and the teenage boy was 15 years old. The man apparently shot him in the head, even though the teen had his hands up and was backing away. It is very disheartening to see the level of hatred and the level of mistrust and the just, I would say, downright disregard for human life. I don't know if this 15-year-old was engaged in some type of activity that sort of caused this guy to shoot him, or if he was simply passing by and was in the wrong place at the wrong time and met an untimely demise. Nevertheless, this 54-year-old killer, who goes by the name of, CNN listed his name as, Joseph Rennick. He killed this young 15-year-old simply because in this age that we now live in, it is almost a landmine for young black men and even older black men to be found in places throughout this country that are hot pockets or hot spots for racism. I say this because there have been many calls to the police across the country just because black people were living in a place that they felt that they should not be living, using a park facility where white people thought they should not be using. I think that a little girl had the police called on her because she was selling lemonade, and the lady wanted to see her license. You have a lot of angry, hateful people in our country who systematically target black people simply because of the media, how the media has portrayed black people. They have portrayed black people as being lazy, thieves, people who are up to no good, people who are trying to kill and steal and harm you and your family if you're white. All of which is false, because black people, if you look at stats right now, they're mainly killing one another at an alarming rate. And this killing, this bloodlust for killing, in my opinion, it needs to be dealt with, because it is actually a national problem. It should be a national security problem for our country. Because if it's not police who are killing black men who have no weapon at times, it is just regular citizens who are using stand your ground laws to shoot and kill at their own discretion. There has to be a measure of accountability. There has to be some type of law in place that protects the innocent from those who are taking the life of those who are innocent. Now, it would be a sad day in America if black people were retaliating. If black people were taking their guns and going out doing these same horrendous crimes to the white population. We would then have a problem in our country where everyone would start taking up arms and defending themselves against a perceived threat. So it is important, I say it's imperative really, that we do something about this, and we do something about it now. Otherwise, it could spiral out of control into what many are hoping would be a race war. Some people are actually looking for a race war. Some people want a race war to erupt so that everyone can start killing one another. It probably would be similar to the movie The Purge, where everyone for so many hours get the opportunity to go about and take the lives of people they perceive as threats. We really shouldn't be having this discussion, but since it happens so frequently in our country and throughout the United States and sometime throughout the world, we need to address the situation. And my heart really went out to this family, the family of this young boy, Centonio Cox, who was killed on Sunday, I believe, in one of the areas in St. Louis. Now he's not the only young child that has been killed. There have been children like Trayvon Martin, and there have been others who have been killed throughout the country. And this killing seems to just take place because of the fear that comes from elected officials. And if you remember, Trump so famously said that when he was running for president, that Mexico sends us their worst. They send us killers. They send us drug dealers. They send us all the worst people who cross the border and come into the United States to cause havoc, which of course is false. There are some hard-working people who come from these other countries to have a better life, but also there are some people who come to carry out mischief. That can be said of those who are citizens of the country. I would say naturalized citizens, those who are citizens by birth, who have been born here in this country. Sometimes they also carry out a lot of horrendous activities and horrendous deeds. So I don't like labeling just one group of people and saying that these are the bad people, because there are bad apples in all of the nationalities that are inside our country. So we need to take a closer look at what we can do as Americans. We all should be concerned about race in America. We should be concerned when innocent people are killed by the police, whether they are black or white, because we do not want our country to become what is somewhat mirroring right now a police state. That is not good for anyone. We really want to have the police work for us and not be hunting us down like criminals. So we have to look at the situation and understand that the root of the problem is fear. Yes, fear. Fear causes us to be suspicious of everyone who looks different than we look. Fear causes us to assume the worst in everyone except people who look like us. Fear causes us to lock our car doors when that other person is walking by. Fear causes us to say some real nasty, horrible, and degrading words to those we hate and disagree with. So yes, fear. Fear is the underlying problem of the race issue in America, and I'm here to tell you that there are many who are profiting on fear. There are many who are capitalizing on fear, because if you can get a poor American afraid of another poor American who happens to look different than they look, guess what? You got yourself a good situation where you can capitalize on that fear, because you can sell propaganda, you can sell guns, you can sell weapons, you can do anything to make a fearful person feel more secure. And I'm afraid that we have been had by several in the industry who have used this tool of fear to make huge profits on our ignorance. If people would understand that we're all the same, we are people, first of all, human beings, and we bleed the same red blood, and we all have feelings, and we all live, and we all will one day die of natural causes or of unnatural causes. We're the same. We just happen to be layered in a different type of complectic skin, I would say, a skin that has a different hue, but still really the same if you happen to cut us open and see the dermis and all of the stuff that's beneath the layers. So this young man, as I told you earlier, was mowed down because someone who had been a recipient of fear and hate assumed that this young man was up to no good and decided that he would take matters into his own hand, and he took the life of a 15-year-old child who now is leaving a void in the heart of a mother, father, sister, brother, cousins, etc. Family members are going to miss this young man because he belonged to somebody. And this killer also had a family, and he belonged to someone. I want you all to know that when people take the lives of innocent people, it doesn't just end there. It festers. It creates hostility within the community where everyone starts being suspicious of everyone who looks different. So now you have a community on edge. You have to remember, this community in St. Louis has been through some horrendous things. They have been through some trauma in the past few years, and now to have things like this still happening and people doing what they feel is right, it's not a good mix. And I'm of the opinion that we could do better. I'm of the opinion that we do have better angels among us. I'm of the opinion that there are good people still in our country. And I probably can use this old saying where Luke Skywalker told his father, there is still some good in you, Father. I believe that there is still good inside America. The reason I believe that is because I meet good people every day. I meet people who are loving. I meet people who are caring, people who are kind, people who are not interested in the skin complexion, but are interested in the character of a person. They want to know who this person is and what contributions they are making to society. So if we could actually get past this race issue in this country, it would be a better place. This country would heal. We would move past our divisions. We would learn to see each other as human beings, as brothers and sisters. But as long as we continue to allow the small segment in our country to make the headlines, the small segments in our country to keep divisive actions and behavior going, as long as we give them the microphone and the good people stay in the background and say nothing, then we will continue to allow this blight, allow this ugly spot of racism to hunt us and to doom us and to prevent us from becoming the country that we know we can be. Our country is made up of immigrants from all various walks of life. We have been called the melting pot, but I'm sometimes wondering, do we need to stir the pot just a little to stop it from scorching at the bottom? We are a vast array of people. We make up this vast array of people, and if we could learn to respect one another and see the good in one another, or the God in one another, as some might like to hear. If we can see the God in each other, we would finally reach a place in our social life, in our political life, in our personal lives, that would make this country the place it should be. You say, well, where do you start this, Charles? I would encourage you to start it right where you are now. Start it in your community. Start the love crusade in your community. Start it in your home. Start it on your job. Start it in the place where you socialize. Start it in the place where you frequent the most. Start showing compassion, not only to the people you like, but to those that you disagree with as well. Once you start this love crusade, you will be surprised to find that there are many other people like you who are looking for the same thing. And I believe we could deal racism an astounding blow if we would all just learn to respect each other. If we respect one another, doesn't mean that we have to like one another. Respect one another. If we respect one another, then we can appreciate the differences in one another. I would like to thank you all for tuning in to another podcast of the Charles Vanhorn Show, and please stay tuned in the future for more episodes. Thank you so much.